Welcome to Loco Gringo, Mexico, the place where we transform a tourist into a traveler, because you deserve to see more of the world than just what's in a guidebook. Each week, we talk with amazing locals who know the Riviera Maya and Yucatan like only a local can, and get them to share their tips and insights on the local scene, culture, and cuisine from a local's perspective. So, pour yourself a margarita, grab a comfy chair, and let's get the show going.
Hi everyone, this is Kay at Loco Gringo, and I just want to say first off, thanks so much for listening today. This is our 30th podcast. So exciting, so exciting. I really enjoy talking to everyone, and everyone here at Loco Gringo, we all know tons of people, and it's really wonderful when they share with all of us their secret places that they go, their favorite little spots that you may not find in a guidebook. So this opportunity to talk to them in this type of intimate level is very wonderful. And I think that the people here in the Yucatan, Riviera Maya, and Costa Maya is the people that make up the fabric of this incredible place. There's wonderful stories to hear on the journeys and how people have found their way to the Riviera Maya, no matter where they're from. And I'm so happy to get the chance to talk to them. So today's show definitely is not going to disappoint. We're going to talk to a woman who says she connected with us through two coconuts and a piece of string, since internet and cell phone service are a little bit sketchy. But she's got a great story to share, and truly, when you listen to her, her passion comes out. So let's just dive in today. Hi, everyone. This is Kay Walton with Loco Gringo, Mexico. Thanks for joining us today. Well, we're going to be talking to a really interesting woman who was a baby photographer. And she started off up in Michigan as a baby photographer, and she found her way to Punta Allen, Mexico. Now, for any of you who don't know where Punta Allen is, if you take the road, the Tulum Beach Road south, go into the Sian Ka'an biosphere, and keep going until you get to the end of the road, you now come in to Punta Allen, which I also think, and she'll be able to tell me for sure, is also, I think, what they claim to be the tarpon capital of the world for everybody who's a fisherman out there. So let me introduce you to Niki Allen. Hey, Niki, how are you?
Hi, Kay. How are you?
Hey, I'm fine, thanks. Niki, I'm so thrilled to get to talk to you today because you have such a great story. How did a woman from Clarkston, Michigan, end up in Punta Allen, which at this point doesn't have cell phone service? So tell me, how did that happen?
You know, Kay, it was one of those things. I've been traveling the Riviera Maya before it was the Riviera Maya, from the mid-'70s on. And my husband had the same kind of Mexican experience. He worked for General Motors as a purchasing manager. And so he worked in the northern part of the country. And when we discovered the Riviera Maya together, it was still, Tulum was a little hippie beach hangout. You could sleep on the ruins type of place. Nobody there, nothing going on. But there was a lot of potential and a lot of opportunity. So, of course, we laid on the beach at Zama's, which is one of my favorite places in Tulum. And it would go, maybe we should do this. Maybe we should just, move to Mexico. Sean had definitely no more desire at all to live in Michigan with the cold and the ice and the snow and all that other good stuff. And for me, because of my job and the years that I had in my job, I was able to travel the southern tier of the United States to take baby pictures. So I didn't have to experience the snow and the cold like he did. And he thought about Florida and, he thought about a couple other places. And I'm like, let's go to Tulum. And so we get to Tulum, and he worked for a while as a resident massage therapist at Zama's, and one day just picked up a couple of girls who said, we want to go to Punta Allen. And he went, oh, okay, I don't have anything to do today, let's go. So they came all the way to the end of the road, and he landed on Doña Lily's porch, which was the only store in Punta Allen at the time, and she said she was selling her property. So he said, okay, I'll buy it. And fortunately for us, it was a private title property. And, he sent me the picture, and I went, what, are you out of your mind? Back then there was maybe 200 people here. There was absolutely no telephone service, no electricity, no refrigeration. I mean, it was mostly little kids and lobstermen. But he came up with the old cliche and said, honey, if we build it, they'll come. And, we had found this piece of property. It was beautifully situated just outside of the village, has a nice beach, and the buildings were existing. So we went into remodel mode. And here we are. Here I am. Anyway, he passed away about 9 years ago, but his dream lives on. The initial principle or purpose behind our coming here was to provide a retreat for people who want to have a Caribbean vacation without feeling like they're in the middle of Margaritaville. So that's what we have, is we have accommodations. We don't have a restaurant or a bar. We encourage our guests to become part of the community by spending their money in the restaurants and bars in town and shopping at the local grocery store and patronizing the local artisans and, taking them wonderful tours and just interacting with the people of the village.
Did you ever consider doing anything else aside from starting a hotel? I mean, did you ever think about, I don't know, is there any, there's really not any other industries out there besides hotels, mini supers, and maybe fishing, right?
Right. And, we didn't want to be a fishing lodge either, because there's plenty of fishing lodges here. Punta Allen has recently become known as the permit capital of the world. And that came about from some friends. We all got together and we wanted to do something for the kids in the village. So two of the organizers got together and said, well, let's have a permit tournament, because that's what's the big thing here. Everybody comes for the elusive permit. Ascension Bay is a world-class destination for saltwater flats fishing. Try saying that 3 times on that margarita. But we didn't want to be a fly fishing lodge. We wanted a place, because we have the only beach house available for rent in Punta Allen. We wanted a place for families to come, groups that were interested in the nature of the Sian Ka'an, and a look at a real working village, people who are taking care of their children, going to work every day, feeding their families, and with that thought in mind of sustainable tourism.
Now, when we look at sustainable tourism, do you find that a lot of the tours and activities down there then are primarily around more of an ecotourist flair than, more mainstream activities?
Well, ecotourism is a principle, to be honest with you. And what is offered here in Punta Allen is a true look at what nature is and can be. There's tours that'll take you out so you can see the dolphins and the turtles and the manatees, and you can go snorkeling on the reef and take walks through the jungle that'll take you into the mangroves, where you end up at the Black Lagoon, where you can see just about anything in the Black Lagoon. Kayaking and the boating and the walking tours and just talking to the people, just being a part of the community. Kids that come to visit us, if they're really big into soccer, the local kids will, just take them right in. There are no language barriers between the kids, believe me. So to answer your other question, did we come here with the intention of having a hotel? Yes. Not a hotel specifically, but a health and education retreat that would allow us to share this very, very special place with people from all over the world.
That's great. Now, I mean, can you tell me now? I've been to Punta Allen. I mean, many times, and a lot. Some things about don't change. Like some days the road's a little rougher than others. How long do people usually come when they come to Punta Allen and stay with you or stay in the town? How long do people stay? Do they stay a full week, or is it people that just come in for 2 or 3 days? What do you recommend for people down there?
Well, I recommend no less than a 3-night stay, to be honest with you, really to get a feel of what's going on here and to just decompose. Our little tagline says, get unplugged in Punta Allen. We have 10 hours worth of lights a day. Yes, I do provide Wi-Fi, but you got to sit at reception in order to get it. And, no telephones, no television. Well, I don't have a television, but, there are televisions in town. But other than that, I forgot what the question was. My question is that, what's the typical stay? And you're recommending a 3-day stay. A lot of people, I get a lot of returning guests that stay for a week, 10 days. Sometimes I get fishermen, because I will take care of fishermen. I get the guys who want to bring their wives and their kids have some place for them to hang out on the beach in a nice, clean location and, do their thing the way they want to do their thing. It's not the, travel in, fish for 5 days, and then travel out type of thing. 8 o'clock in the morning till 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I get those guys who really want to just be here, to be a part of it, fix food for their families, take them on walks and fish as well.
And any of the fishing guides down there, they're local people from Punta Allen. I mean, they're not people coming down from Cancun to take people fishing. So when they're coming down to Punta Allen, people are there to fish or to stay at your place or to go to a local restaurant. They're actually helping the money that they're spending is actually going right directly into the community. Is that correct?
Oh, that's completely true. All of the guides here are local young men who have come up through the ranks, and have extensive training. And, some of the best eyes in the Bay are here in Punta Allen. So by encouraging our clients to be involved in that and involved in the economy of the village was really our main purpose. Was to just give you a nice place to stay and give you an experience. And so that's what we do, and that's what we did. That's what we did. Now that's what we still do.
Well, that's awesome. And I just want to make a little comment here for anybody who's listening is that where Niki is, as she said, they don't have cell service, kind of a little sketchy, and Wi-Fi is a little bit sketchy. So if you hear any little drops or anything like that, Niki's working with 2 tin cans and a piece of string.
Coconuts.
2 coconuts and a piece of string to get the internet. As many times, and I love coming to Punta Allen, and I regret that I haven't stayed overnight, and I always want to, and then I'm always in a rush to get back home. But my question is, and I always wondered this: is there scuba diving out of Punta Allen? Because the Sian Ka'an Reef has got to be pretty pristine, and so I would think snorkeling and diving would be excellent.
Well, one of the problems with diving in the Sian Ka'an is, number one, we're a natural park. Okay, so they don't want divers on the reef. And we're not close enough to medical emergency facilities in order to make diving viable here yet. It's not to say that it won't happen in the future, but the snorkeling here is awesome. The reef extends, it's probably 2 kilometers in front of the town and extends for the entire, it goes for miles and miles and miles. There's some openings, but the snorkeling is very shallow. And it's absolutely stunning. And one of the reasons I think it's so stunning is because the guides and the boatmen and the people here who are running ecotourism are so conscious of what we have to do in order to preserve our reefs, to preserve the life that's on our reefs, and to preserve the sustainability of feeding our families here.
No, I totally agree. Speaking of feeding families, correct me if I'm wrong, there's a big lobster co-op there as well, correct?
Yes, it's one of the first and one of the largest in Quintana Roo, the Lobster Cooperativa Vigía Chico. They've been around for 48 years, and they're modeled after a specific type of they don't trap the lobsters here. They go down and they scoop them up in nets from underneath what they call sombrillas. And a sombrilla is just like this concrete like little casa, a little house that the lobsters can take refuge in. So they're not trapped. They can move from casa to casa, from house to house. And each of the campos that the cooperativa owns is specific. And so they can go and they take lobsters that are a specific size. They can't take the older ones. They can't take the females. And they have to have at least a 250-gram tail in order to qualify as a product.
Now, are there certain seasons?
Mm-hmm. Yep, there's what's called a veda, and a veda is like a rest and reproduction period between the end of February and the 1st of July. So here in Punta Allen, the 1st of July is when the lobster season opens again, and it's a festival, let me tell you. You start eating lobster the 1st of July, and you don't stop until the end of February. There's lobsters a la plancha on the grill. There's lobster salad. There's lobsters with eggs. There's, you lobster pizza. You can have anything lobster that you want here in Punta Allen for sure. And guaranteed that lobster just came out of the sea maybe a couple of hours ago.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I do love lobster when I'm there, and I usually am down there having a piece of fish because last time I was there I wasn't there during lobster season. So I'll have to make sure that my next road trip it brings me down during that time of year, so I can eat one of those bugs from the sea.
Kind of look like bugs, don't they? They're not the prettiest fish in the water, but they're definitely good.
No, they're not. Now with fish, if I go to a restaurant and I'm having any type of fish dish, all the fish and everything is pretty much all caught locally. There's nothing brought in from Cancun or Chetumal. Is that correct?
Probably not. There's one family here that has the concession to provide food fish like grouper and snapper and barracuda and whatever else we're going to eat here. And 9 out of the 10 restaurants will buy their fish from the local fishermen, or the husband will go out and catch it. So we can have tacos de cazón or whatever. Shark meat. Oh, it's really good stuff, and you can get it here in Punta Allen for sure.
Oh, yummy, yummy! And I'm sure there's some listeners out there cringing about eating shark, but it does happen. And it's pretty. I've had it only a couple times. Pretty tasty too.
Yeah, it is.
And you mentioned dolphins, and I bring that up and talking about protected animals. And I know a lot of people are very big dolphin lovers. I remember when I was down. Actually, I was down off of Mahawal on a boat trip, and the dolphins would break. Just a pod of dolphins were swimming with us along the bow of the boat, and it was absolutely incredible. Do you still see a lot of dolphins out there? I mean, it's so remote and quiet. I assume they're still swimming and having a great time.
Yeah, we do see. We have a very healthy dolphin population as well as turtles. The seagrass event that we had in last year provided a lot of shade and nutrients close to the shore where the turtles like to feed. So we just had the turtle guys from the University of Florida here, and they did a count that it was double the amount that we had last year. So the ecosystem here is thriving. It truly is thriving. Even with as much pressure as we're getting from the day visitors.
Day trippers. Yep.
There's still, you don't see as many dolphins right in front of. I used to be able to sit on my beach and watch them go by, first thing at dawn. So we don't see them so much in front of town anymore because of the boat traffic. But you get out there a ways, and there's just, like you said, the pods will come to your boat. They'll play with the boat. They jump through the wake. They just absolutely love it. And the captains here are trained specifically to maintain a specific distance from the animals, not put pressure on them, and try not to make them nervous, so that they run. So the tourists, when they get to go on a tour and they see dolphins, it's a good chance you're going to see a lot of dolphins around your boat. Yeah.
That's awesome. I personally love being out in nature, and I know so many of the people who come to the area do, and a lot of our listeners just have had great experiences coming down, whether it's with turtles or birds and things. And it's, one of those, to see a dolphin is just in the wild is just an awesome experience.
Right. And mind you, we don't swim with the dolphins here. That is strictly prohibited.
And that's it's a great point to make.
Yeah, to see a family go by, with their children and they're all playing and having a good time. It's an awesome, awesome sight. They're beautiful animals.
So what keeps your passion going? It comes across it certainly comes across in your voice and everything, and how much you love Punta Allen, but is there something about what's your passion that keeps you going and living in the end of a sand road where there's no cell reception? There's got to be something that's holding you there. Is it just the environment, or is there something more?
Kay, what makes me passionate besides the environment are the children. I truly, truly believe that the kids are the next generational caretakers of this area. And with the proper education, they're going to be the best caretakers that this place has ever seen. So what makes me passionate about it is sharing information with not only our guests, but, with the kids, doing things like beach cleanups and the reason why we separate our trash and why we, don't throw things on the ground. And here's what happens when you cut open a fish and you see its belly full of plastic. It's our responsibility. It's not just, people go, God, where does all the trash come from? Here's where all the trash comes from. Everybody, humankind, is responsible for the trash that's on the beaches. Especially here in the Sian Ka'an, there is no program that's going to take that. What is this, 40 kilometers from the arch to Punta Allen, and there's nobody that's going to go out there and clean up those beaches, unless you're at my house. But anyway, that's another story. My passion is to show people that it is possible to live in a place like this and do it comfortably. You get used to not having 24-hour electricity. You get used to not having a cell phone. You get technologically challenged like I was in trying to set up this whole Skype date. And you just kind of get used to it because you live outside. I mean, the ocean is right at my front door. I love the kids here. When you see the kids here, you just... Okay, I'm going to get really passionate about this. There's somebody home when you look in their eyes. They're not glazed over from staring at computer screens or telephone devices, or, they go outside and they make toys out of flotsam and jetsam from the sea. And the kids are really smart. And what's happening here in Punta Allen now are more and more of the young people are staying, going into ecotourism with the proper training to make it sustainable. Because without sustainability, we're not going to have any resources left to offer. It's a very, very small little island that we're on. And so we have to manage it. And part of that management is education about the area. So I'm a big supporter of the kids and the school system. And like I said earlier, one of the reasons the permit tournament came up in April is because we wanted to raise funds to help provide the children with the things that they need that they can't get from the government in regards to their schooling and their comfort and just their overall health.
That leads me to ask this question for anybody who's listening. If they want to help out the children in the school down in Punta Allen, and they're going to come, they're going to make a road trip down. Can you make a few suggestions of what these kids can use so people can maybe bring some items on their vacation to donate?
That's a great question, Kay, because I get that question all the time. And what I tell people the kids need here is funding, number one. There's a lot of families here that can't even afford the uniforms that the kids have to wear to the school. Paper and pencils and school books. I mean, binder books and, materials for arts and crafts and paints and all those kind of things that little kids like. We have from pre-kinder school, we have a Niki Allen, the pre-kinder school, all the way to the secondary school, which goes through the 9th grade. So anything that your kids would need in those particular age groups, the kids here in Punta Allen need it too. The purpose of the tournament is to raise funding so that we can go and actually do these projects that are, much more than just a donation of this and a donation of that. We've put in inverters with batteries so that the kids, when we don't have electricity, the kids will have fans and ventilation in their schoolrooms. We have a little special needs girl that we did last year. We did a crowdfunding program to buy her a new wheelchair, a titanium wheelchair. I mean, we're talking about top of the line titanium wheelchair that was specifically designed for this area. And this year we have a little blind girl that we're going to be helping with her little machine so that she can write her own stories. That's what she really wants to do. She wants to be able to write her own stories. So we're going to help her with Braille machine. And just the generosity of the people here in town, not just tourists that come and visit us, but the locals as well. We help families that are being challenged, with their health or, with their lodging or, things like that. It's a very tight-knit group of people, and the guests that visit us here are all very generous people. So whether you bring dollars or you bring pencils. It's all very, very welcome.
That's awesome. And it's really heartwarming to hear that the community's pulled together and they work together as a team to help one another. It's really a beautiful thing. So, Niki, one of the things I ask everyone I talk to is I want to know about your secret spots, those little places. I mean, we all need a place to get away to, whether that's for me to get away from my office, or perhaps you want to get away from the beach. I'm not really sure why you'd want to, but anyways, no. But I ask everyone to share some of the secret spots or hidden places that people may miss. And it doesn't have to, they can be, of course, in Punta Allen, or if you have, if you ever get up the road and you're up in the Tulum area and you have a favorite place there, if you want to share that. But what can you offer, recommend to some people if they want to come down?
Well, first of all, let me tell you where my favorite spot to vacation is, other than the fact that I live in paradise next to the Caribbean Sea, okay? Is a little town called Bacalar. It's about 3 hours south of Tulum, and it's on a freshwater lagoon, on a freshwater lake. I have a little spot down there, and I'm not going to keep it secret because I absolutely love it. It's called Mis Casas. Mis in Maya means cat, okay? So the cat house is where I go. My friend Catherine Running, she has an absolutely lovely little retreat on the north end of the lake where I like to go and disappear, okay? Closer to home, I would have to say there's a favorite walk that I do. It's only like maybe 100 meters south of my house, and it goes into the jungle, and it passes through the mangrove system, and you come to a boardwalk that takes you to a watchtower on the Black Lagoon. And from there, you can see the sunrise, or you can see the sunset, because the island here is very, very narrow. But it's just one of those quiet places I can take a hammock and hang it up in the little watchtower and just hang out there without anybody even bothering us. They quit running the boat tours through there, so now it just stays quiet all the time. And that is probably my favorite secret place. I don't tell people much about that one, but that's the one I like, the Sendero de Laguna Negra. I love that place. One of the other things that we like to do too is there are ruins on the road that you can access from the road. There's like 5 of them, and each one of them is a different type of building. Each one has a different story to it, a different reason for it being there. And it's not a tourist destination. You're not going to find somebody in town that's going to say, oh yeah, let's go see the road ruins, unless you go with me. But anyway, it's like an Indiana Jones adventure where you make your way through the jungle for like 5 minutes, and the next thing you know, you come up on this temple ruin. Those are very cool places to be, too, because they're in the jungle the same way they've been in the jungle for the last 1,500 years. Amazing. And then, I have to share this with you because I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but just about 5 kilometers north of town, there's an area called Blanquisal. And Blanquisal is a natural pool. It's formed when the reef comes to the land. And this phenomenon just makes the water blue, the white sand. It's not real deep, so it's a perfect place for people to go and just chill out, play with their kids, that kind of thing. And there's no sign, there's nothing that indicates that this is a place where you want to be. You just got to know where it is. And so I'm pretty good about sharing that particular place with a lot of people as well.
Awesome. Wow. Very cool. I learned some stuff, Niki. This is awesome. I want to share with everybody that Niki has your hotel. Now it is. Let me see if I'm going to pronounce it right. Serenidad Shardon, correct?
That's correct.
And what is the best way, Niki, people can contact you, whether it's to talk to you about places to stay down there, see if you're around to take them on a ruin stomp, or get your input. How can people reach out to you?
Well, my direct email is serenidadshardon@gmail.com. That's the easiest way to get a hold of me. But I also have a WhatsApp number, and I'm getting a little more technologically advanced with it, so I can give you that number as well. Okay.
That'll be great. And for anybody who's listening, as I know that the signal's breaking up a little bit, on our website, we will have links over to Niki's website, her email address, and we can put her WhatsApp number on there too, so you can WhatsApp her.
Yep, and I maintain 3 Facebook pages. I have my personal page, I have one for the hotel, and then I also do the Punta Allen community information page, where I share what's going on in the community and what things are going on and things that are happening. I mean, we don't have a lot of events here, because it's a pretty laid back little place. A lot of people just like to chill on the beach or maybe take a walk around town or down into the jungle. So, when something does happen that's pretty special in our little town, that's where I post it.
Oh, beautiful. Well, we will make sure that we'll post links over and let everybody know your 3 Facebook pages so that, they can get in touch with you. And of course, anybody who has trouble finding Niki, you can always email me, askkay@locogringo.com, and I will hook you up with her. Niki, I've got to tell you, it's been a treat to talk to you today, and really excited to hear all the great things that are happening in Punta Allen.
Thanks, Kay. It was a delight to speak with you as well.
Well, I certainly want to thank Niki for her time today. I know that it's really tough to get internet connection down there in Punta Allen that has great bandwidth. So a big shout out to her and a big shout out to all of you for joining us today. I invite you to visit our show notes. You can get information on Niki, how to contact her in Serenidad Shardon, and the website and everything. So just go to our show notes, locogringo.com/podcast, and you can get all that information. In the meantime, if you're planning your trip to the Riviera Maya, the Costa Maya, the Yucatan, hey, give us a shout. Visit our website, locogringo.com, or drop me an email, sk@locogringo.com, and we'll be able to hook you up on some great places. Not only great places to stay, but we want to custom make an experience for you that's just it's gonna blow you away. So just give us a shout and let us do what we do. Let us make the magic happen. Well, until next week, everyone. Hasta la vista.
Thanks for listening. If you like the show, be sure to subscribe. For links, show notes, and more information, head on over to locogringo.com or give us a call toll-free at 800-478-0081.
Porque se tragó la luna, estaba enferma la rana, su madre soba que soba, dedos de pluma la panza, pensó ranita que luna era una toronja blanca, y aunque la luna es de leche, la leche estaba cortada. Croa, croa, dedos de pluma, croa, croa, dedos de agua, croa, croa.